I believe you got the talent and passion to become a great digital artist, and it's only a matter of time and practice to achieve it. For that reason, I decided to create the biggest digital painting tutorial channel in YouTube. It's easy, detailed, and personalized. Subscribe. Don't you want to be part of it?
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jesus Conde and today we're going to be making explosions. Remember that you can get the reference images on the description and also the PSD file of the final result. So let's get started with this explosion tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is the sketch, which is really loose. It's nothing. It's not defined. There's no detail on it. It's just some lines to get the volumes of some stuff. Right there, I'm doing those. This like that center point looks like a vanishing point, but it's not. It's just that I want to try to make those the direction of the dust that is going to be on the bottom. I wanted to have some direction, and that's what I did that like that. If you can see the first reference on the top left of the references, there's some dust coming out from the bottom. That's what I want to achieve, kind of. I'm using a normal brush, nothing weird. There's a lot of people that ask me about the brushes. You can download it on the description of this video, but really it's not that important. I know it seems like it's really important to paint with the same brushes that I paint, but it's not. The important thing is that you get to understand how to achieve stuff. So right now I'm just using a normal brush, nothing weird at all. The brush is a circle and it goes transparent with depression. It has opacity activated on the transfer or the other dynamics settings on the brush's properties. Right there, I want you to notice, even that it's really quick, I know. I want you to notice that I'm painting in circles, and I'm doing little circles with the pen in my tablet. And that allows me kind of to see a soft result. So for explosions, you're going to be painting, doing circles with this brush. Or at least that's my intention, that you do this. Right there, the colors look kind of desaturated. Look, right there I'm doing an example of the circle stuff, see? It's just a little circle, and I push a little bit harder when I want more color. And there I noticed that I got to use the dodge tool, which I'm going to use in few seconds or minutes. It's something that if you don't use the dodge tool making explosion, it's just not going to look right. You can notice that it looks kind of like it looks fake. It doesn't look like explosion at all. You need that brightness burning to make it look like it's explosion. Right there looks just like a painting of explosion. we want to make it look as real as possible, even though it's a painting. And right there I'm just using some light colors on the brown part and trying to put some clouds around. Clouds of dust. It's dust clouds, it's not clouds from the sky or anything. So I want you to notice I'm using circles on for the blending technique, and push when you want a harder or a more deep color. You can see the example right there. I'm pushing while I'm doing it, so when I push a little, it goes like that. It goes more intense color. Okay, so I do this, I copy the thing so you can see how it was before and how it is now, and we're going to have the sunlight coming from the top left. I'm just picking the color right there. I'm picking the color of the references of the bright part of the cloud. So I'm going to start painting this bright spot of the cloud on the top, the dust, which is the left part. See, it's starting to gain some shape, starting to look a little bit better in terms of volume. In the references you can see that there are really bright parts. That's something that we definitely have to try to achieve. And it has some dark spots on the center. It's really dense smoke. So I want you to notice also the color variations. I have color variations from yellow to orange, from orange to brown to orange to gray, and that gray is kind of blue. I have a lot of different color variations, and you definitely have to try to achieve that. It's really important because it's going to make it look more interesting and believable. It what happens in real life. There I'm using a Dodge tool, but you can see right there on the top in the menu is set to highlights. You gotta set your Dodge tool to highlights. The Dodge tool is really important. You can do it with the letter O on the keyboard, and then you just take the colors with the you take some colors with the eyedropper, which is the I on the keyboard, and take the eyedropper and then push B again to go to the brush. Again, very quick. Some people have asked me to do a tutorial about using the keys. I'm not sure, but I will see. If you guys want it, I could do it, but not too many people have asked for it. Okay, so notice that it changed completely the feeling of this explosion after I used the Dodge tool, and now I got new colors to work with. I have new tones, new bright tones, new bright colors to play. Right there I'm taking the darkest, one of the darkest colors from the brown cloud, from the brown dust coming from the ground. And I want you to notice that little cloud on the left, on the bottom left. It looks like it's really detailed, but it's actually really loose. It's not detailed at all. But if you're doing it at this distance, it looks like it's detailed because it has this been painted with a smaller brush size. At this point, try to paint with a big one, but feel free to do whatever you want. But I will recommend to use a bigger brush at the beginning and then go with a smaller brush while painting. Right there I have to lead from the bottom because the explosion itself is a light source. The explosion itself is fire, is gives light. So you have to lead your cloud from the bottom with the colors of this explosion to make it more believable. If not, it's going to look like this. The smoke is in another place completely. Notice that when I put that light coming from the bottom, looks like they are in the same place. So that's really, really important. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so remember that you can download the reference image on the description. You're gonna have a link in there, and you can get the PSD file, so you can check out all what I did on the original file. I don't use too many layers though. so keep that in mind. Okay, so right there, okay, remember to check out the how to paint wood video. You can get to see all my videos. Subscribe if you haven't. It was a really cool tutorial, really fun to do, the one of wood. Right there I'm using the smudge tool a little bit, that is with the letter R, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's with the letter R. It's really helpful to get that soft look on the blending, but we do have to we're gonna have to try to not use it too much, although I use it a lot at the ending, but for other reason. I'll explain to you there, but not for the blending. Okay, so this top part of the explosion is actually kind of like a tree. So it's just that it's white and it has some orange light coming from the bottom. Okay. What else can I say? Well, right there I'm putting. Notice that I'm okay. Right now I'm painting with orange, of course, but I have that dark spot of smoke, and it makes it look more interesting. You're gonna have to try to do that, to put some colors that make it look cooler. You have some artistic freedom because it's your painting. Right there, I should be leading that smoke with the yellow or the orange, but I'm doing it a little bit with the yellow, of course, but I'm using more like a light brown color because I thought it looks better in my opinion. Right there, I am using the orange color, so it gives more variation to the painting. Okay. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'm trying to upload one video every week. I used to make a tutorial every 3 weeks because it had the same theme each week, but I thought it was really long and you guys will get bored. So I'm trying to do one different video every week so you guys can learn more. Okay, so let's see what can I tell you right now. Right now, it's just blending. I'm taking the colors I already have. With the eyedropper, as you can see, I change really quick from the eyedropper to the brush, and I do that with my left hand. I just press I and take the color and then B quickly. And to move the canvas, I use the spacing bar. This will give you more speed. So you have to practice a lot with the brush, the eyedropper, the spacing bar, and the zoom. Those are the 4 keys that I use the most with my left hand because I'm right-handed. If you are left-handed, I'm not sure how can I help you with that, but try to memorize in terms of space. I'm using a normal keyboard, and I got myself used to a normal keyboard, and even when I'm painting with the laptop, I have to use a normal keyboard. I plug a normal keyboard on the laptop, and that's the one that I use. because the distance on the keys on the keyboard on the keyboard of the laptop are different, are kind of like smaller, and it feels completely different. And after years of doing it with the normal keyboard, I just I thought it was easier to just get a USB keyboard and just plug it in. It's not something like I cannot change. I cannot. If I had to use only the keyboard of the laptop, I could. But I have the opportunity to do it with the normal keyboard. I do it. I don't know if it was Feng Su said one time. He still uses the Intuos 3. I bought an Intuos 5, but it's kind of hard to get those kind of things here in my country. So I had to to stick to it. But I had an Intuos 3 also, and in terms of for me, it was like no too much of difference between that one and this one. Of course, it have more resolution and stuff like that, but it feels the same, you know. I could have just keep with my Intuos 3 and nothing will happen. It will still painting. So you don't have to be always using the latest software or the latest product to paint better, because it's not the thing that is painting, it's you. So keep that in mind. You can see that I use the Photoshop CS3. You don't have to use the latest Photoshop for that. Although you have a pretty cool stuff going on. It's not like it's you cannot paint if you don't buy that one. You can still paint. Okay, so right there I wanted to notice that I'm doing like a backlight or a rim light, and the light is coming from the back, and I'm using 45%. Right here I'm using 20% of opacity. Why do I do that? Because I think you can see a softer you're building your painting slowly instead of just doing the color in one stroke. And when you're doing it like this, like really slow, you can notice the tiny differences between the colors, and it gives you looks more detailed, even that it's not. You can get these really tiny variations on the colors when you work with low percentage. And you can make, how do I say that? It's richer. You have a richer result than if you're doing with a high opacity stroke. Right, that I'm trying to explain you how do I blend with strokes. I do few strokes and then more strokes on the same area to get darker. For example, if I work with 20% and I make one stroke, that's a 20% stroke. If I do two strokes on the same spot, I get 40%. If I do 3 strokes, I get 60%, and etc. So when you're trying to do a variation from light to dark or something like that, you're starting with the lightest color, and you're going to start with the light on there. You just start doing more strokes and then doing less. For example, where it's more lit, you can do about 8 or 9 strokes, and then on the one side you do 6, and then on one side you do 5 and 3 and 2, and just that until you do just 1, and you have like this variation from light to dark. It's really easy to blend doing it this way. And it looks more it gives kind of a, well, not really like a traditional painting, but it looks more worked. It looks like you spend more time on it. because it had all these little tiny variations and stuff. So keep that in mind while doing your paintings, doing color variations with the low percentage. Okay, so what else can I tell you? Right there I didn't like too much that part, so I'm trying to erase it. And now we get to the final part of this tutorial, which is going to be a bit larger because of the details, and I took off the timer on it. The explosion has some dark spots on top of the light parts. I'm really not sure how to explain. I'm sure it's a smoke, but it looks really weird, and it was really difficult to achieve. So right here I'm trying to do trying to do my best to achieve that. And well, you can see the final result later. But I have these little dark spots on the light part, see? Right there. And it's really difficult to achieve. And for that, because I try not to erase too much and not to use Ctrl Z too much, I'm using a really low opacity. I think I'm using 20% in there. Let me see. Yes, I'm using 20%, and that was the only part that I found really difficult to do. So you're gonna be looking at me struggling to get that result in there that I really hope you like. Yeah. Then I'm going to be making a little bit of particles on the air and stuff like that. That part I really enjoyed. And a glowing effect that is going to give like it's like a post-production touch. It's going to make that effect that is volumetric lighting going on in the air, or a flare or a glow. Right, that I'm trying to burn a little with the dodge tool. I thought I needed more dark in there. I will have preferred, of course, to do the talking while painting, but it's kind of distracting, and I will paint slower. So this tutorial is of about 1 hour, and if I do it like talking at the same time, I'm a man, so I cannot do two things at the same time. But if I do that, if I record the voice directly, I could easily spend like half hour more. Okay, right there I'm doing little particles in the air, like you can see on the reference on the bottom right of the reference file. Sorry guys, I'm a little sleepy here. Yeah, and the references on the bottom, on the right, there are little particles in the air. You can see it in the bottom left of the screen, but in the reference image is the one of the bottom right. So we have these little tiny particles in the air. It's just like that. It's just painting little dots. Nothing weird going on. I'm not using a special brush or anything for those. And there is a point where I copied a layer. I copied a layer to get more intensity. Those particles are in another layer, of course. You don't want to paint those in the layer you have, you are using. Because it's going to be a mess if you have to change something. So keep them in another layer, please. Okay, and right there I took a dark color that I really liked. Now with a really big soft brush, you're gonna do one stroke. One stroke and you're going to place it where the heat of the explosion is. I'm trying to change the color, and you have to set that layer to linear dodge. That's the kind of layer you're going to be using. Linear dodge type of layer. So there we go. Of course, that is in a new layer completely. And right there, I still struggling trying to achieve those dark spots on the explosion. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare to do those black spots, but I'll get to it. Okay, so you can see not too much to say about this. It's just using the same brush that I'm using all the tutorial and working like a 20%. It's a slower approach, but it's kind of gives you more control to do things, and that's really important that you have control over your painting. You cannot do things. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to create by luck, but you will want to have control of most of your painting, or at least of what you're doing. Right now I'm trying to do the opposite, painting with little spots of light. I was kind of losing control in that part. It was like I hate this effect. Didn't turn out that bad, but I thought it needed more work. I thought it needed more work on it. And notice you can see the reference. Those spots comes like in a sphere looking. It's like a cloud and have these little balls of fire, balls of smoke through it. So they are kind of round. So there we go. Put in the effects to see kind of how it's looking. And I thought this smoke right here needed more definition too, so I'm trying to do a little with a smaller brush. With the smaller brush you get more tiny results, and that's what it looks like. It's more detail when you use little strokes. You use more tiny strokes. Didn't like that change too much. Okay, so what else can I say? Right there I'm putting more orange on the bottom of the cloud. You can see the effect, like it's been lit from the bottom. It's really cool. And how I said a few minutes ago, the more color variations you have, the more interesting is the painting going to look. So that's what I'm trying to do here, trying to put more interesting blendings, interesting variations between the smoke and the fire. go back to the part that is killing me, right there. And this is the second explosion I've done in my life. The first one was in the first tutorial that I told you I lost. I have never painted explosion before, so I'm also learning with you guys. And you are getting to see all the struggle that I'm doing to achieve the result. So it's not like I know everything at all. There's stuff that I haven't painted in my life, like this one, and you can get to see that. I thought I needed some brightness in this part, so I put another glowing effect right there. Okay, so you can see all the struggle of this painting. Okay, right there I'm about to decide to use the smudge tool, but it's mostly because of the direction of the explosion. Don't know how to explain it. Notice that I'm trying to follow the direction of how the action of the explosion is moving, kind of like from the center to outside. That's really important to do. And even if you think it's kind of geeky to do this, you can make like explosion sounds with your mouth while painting. It's going to help you understand. You can be like trying to doing that sound, and makes you feel the painting. Like a kid, try to do this thing like it's like you were a kid. Talking about myself because I'm I'm 28 years old, but if you were younger, I think it's easier for you to do this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm not sure what else to say. It's about to end, so not much to say at this point. It's mostly color blending and putting some more color variations. So that's the work. Okay, right there I thought I needed more darkness on the cloud, so I took another a soft brush and I pen on top in another layer. And now I'm changing the brightness a little and using the dodge tool. You always see myself doing that at the end, like changing brightness, putting darkness in some spots, stuff like that, like some last minute adjustments. The brightness gave it a more kind of a looks more intense in the bright spots, which I liked. I really like that result with the brightness change. You can do that in image adjustments, brightness, and contrast. Actually I changed the contrast instead of the brightness. It's the contrast that I change, not the brightness. And I got that result. Now that I see it, it's kind of dark, the cloud, but well, it's already done, so I will leave it like that because it's what you get, what you can see that I did. If I do some changes and then show it to you, you're gonna be like, oh hey, you changed some stuff and that's not in the video. you get to see the video completely because it's really long. I know it's kind of long, but some people watch it till the end. Thank you very much for those who do that. What else can I tell you? Well, right there I'm just trying to take the colors that I have already and painting some little color variations to get more definition, some shadows and stuff. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be uploading another video next week. Please, you can make a comment saying, asking for what tutorial to do next. So I'm glad you came to see this tutorial. Thank you very much for your companion. And don't forget to follow my other social networks. On Facebook, I put everything in there. I put everything I do. Right now, it's mostly just the tutorials, but when I get some time, I put some drawings of made for myself. Please follow me on Twitter, even that I'm constantly putting my tutorials in there also. My DeviantArt is also another way to be in touch with me, and my Instagram and Pinterest account. Those are all in the description below. Please like this video, follow, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you very much.